Guys at the front have 9 attacks plus a champion that's 10 attacks. With the new rules, you've got an extra rank there for that's another 3. So it's 13 attacks on the giant. Not actually getting any 6s to wound though, so the giant's still standing around and just bashing left and right. You can see a warlock engineer on the corner here. He's actually not upgraded to cast spells, but he's got the doom rocket, so that's why he's included in the list. So yeah, that's what's happening in this photo. In the next image, the Doom Wheel screeching around the flank and zapping a nearby fanatic, and with the remaining 2 bolts zapping a couple of Boreboys. Those Boreboys, as you can see, there's a dice next to them with a 1 facing upwards, meaning that they failed their animosity check first turn, so they're stuck there. So the Doom Wheel just rolling around the side and blasting them and looking at a counter charge. But of course, with a counter charge, you've also got that grind attack, which is going to be very dangerous as well. Next image, the Screaming Bell up above the battlefield. We really love this photo of the grey seer looking down on the field, trying to get some action happening. The bell tolling, of course, and typically rolling it like an 11 or 12, giving it that D3 wounds to all strength 7 units on the battlefield. Nothing of the sort this game because the Orcs have no bolt throwers or rock lobbers, but Scorch going off, I believe, doing a little bit of damage, and Death Frenzy being cast a couple of times from the grey seer. So grey seer really looking over the battlefield and controlling the thing, and ushering his horde of rats forward. Really awesome picture. And in the next image, you've got the night goblins fleeing from the field due to a failed panic check. What happened here is that in one of these combats, at least, the giant rats have broken through the line and have destroyed the trolls, causing an immediate panic check for the night goblins, which they have failed and have fled right nearly to the back of the board. And chances are they will not be able to rally due to their low leadership and will be gone. But that's one area in which the Skaven have managed to punch through. But in the middle ground, the Black Orcs have totally ripped up the slaves, so have the Savage Orcs, because there's actually 3 combat characters in there, including the Great Shaman equipped for combat. So now it's going to be an epic battle to the finish between the Grey Seer and his Bell unit against the Black Orcs and Savage Orcs. Looking forward to it. Next photo shows you that, and here is a combat involving a depleted unit of Black Orcs and Savage Orcs against the Grey Seer and Screaming Bell. So what happens here is that the Great Shaman, Great Savage Orc Shaman, has a Skull Wand of Kaloth and Kicking Boots and Frenzy. So he's got 3 attacks, and models that are hit by it have to take a leadership check. Just so that you guys know, if he had chosen to attack the Bell, the new FAQ errata says the Bell has a leadership of 0, meaning he could have destroyed the Bell instantly had he hit it. But I decided, because this is a friendly game, not to really abuse that loophole, because I thought it was a bit silly, and had the Grey Seer attack somebody else instead. So this combat raged on for a bit. The Skaven BSB's in there, and there's a Black Orc character, Big Boss, on foot with the Shagas. So Orcs and Goblins actually winning this combat due to pure wounds inflicted, but the Skaven with the Screaming Bell actually managed to hold the line because they are unbreakable thanks to the Bell rule. Next image, the Savage Orc Boreboy Biggins with their banner of butchery. So many different alliteration in there. Charge the Doom Wheel. And what actually happens here is that the Doom Wheel inflicts a grind attack on them, killing 2 of them, and the remaining guys do no damage, and the Doom Wheel just completely grinds them to death. So unlucky that a bad day to be a Boreboy, really, charging in here against the impressive Doom Wheel, really just dominating them. So nothing much the Orcs can do about that, despite charging it with Frenzy. Next photo, here's my very impressive assassin model. Bursting out of the Clan Rat unit, Amy decided to hold him in reserve for a bit, and he's just launching himself from the top of this little building here. If you guys must know, it's a little building piece taken from the chapel kit, because I've got a chapel on the battlefield, and these were a couple of parts that I didn't use, and I put some foliage and skulls in there. This is the Deathmaster Snitchk, however you pronounce his name, the model, and I've done a bit of work painting him. And he has really done the trick here, because in the new edition, if you have Always Strikes First and higher initiative than your opponent, and your opponent doesn't have Always Strikes First, you get to re-roll failed missed hits. So that was more than enough to kill a giant here with poisoned attacks, just toppling him. Giant falling over and landing on a rat ogre. I think killing another rat ogre, or at least killing or doing a couple of wounds on it or whatever, and killing some clan rats. The Clan Rats unit being extremely depleted, this is Team Cheddar, remember, by Death Frenzy. They're just clawing each other's eyes out at this point because they are so rabid, but quite impressed by that assassin. Next image, there is a single Savage Orc Ballboy running from the Doom Wheel. As you can see, he's missing a couple of arms and hands there, as you'd expect if you'd been sort of rolled over by a Doom Wheel. But this guy is going to be running for the hills. He will not be coming back. Next image, the Censer Bearers, having dealt with the other Boreboys, have now crashed into the Night Goblin unit with the Shaman. They've got some assistance in the flank there with some slaves. The rules for cancelling ranks are different now. You actually need your own ranks if you want to charge into a unit's flank and cancel them, but I think the slaves have just enough guys to be able to do that. In the front, the Censer Bearers are really mopping up the Goblins nice and truly, so that this flank is going down to the Orcs as well. So it's going to come down to a battle to the finish in the centre. Going to the next photo, obviously the Bell being unbreakable, holding the line, but all of the Skaven units turning around now to face the central combat and get stuck into it. And you got the Assassin, Rat Ogres, Doomwheel, Giant Rats all turning around to get involved in this combat. So if we go to the next image, we've even got the Plague Monks ripping around the side. They'd been sort of held back a bit because the Fanatics swirling around the battlefield didn't really want to get a piece of those Fanatics, but all that's left here is really to wait for this one remaining Fanatic to go bye-bye, and they'll be able to hit the flank of that Savage Orc unit as well. So in the next photo, you can actually see what's going on in the combat. Just for the sake of preservation, the Orcs have challenged, and the Skaven BSB has been sent to the rear of the combat, where he can still give us leadership bonus. I'm not really sure how that worked out, but this is what's happened. So I've taken a picture of the Clan Rat. The Skaven Chieftain BSB hiding behind the back of the unit, but still ushering his guys forward, and you can see quite a little array of different types of models here in the unit, which is quite cool. And next photo, finally, everything comes crashing to an end, a grim end for the Orcs, I must say, because the Assassins charged in, the Rats have charged in, the Plague Monks on the side with their Plague Banner have charged in. A small victory for the Orcs, having killed the Grey Seer at this point, being actually sucked into the wand of the Skull Wand of Kaloth by the Great Orc, Savage Orc Shaman. And a small victory for the Orc General, killing the Skaven General, but he's quickly overrun by a surging tide of rats, and all Orc and Goblin models removed from the battle after this combat, which brings us to an end of the game, and quite an enjoyable game of 8th edition. Really just a mess-around game to get us more familiar with the basic rules, but sooner or later I'll show you guys some more interesting games. I've actually got well, not that this wasn't an interesting game, but some more competitive games where I've got a very, well, I believe, powerful High Elf list written up, which I'll show you guys soon. And more action from the Skaven, possibly against Dwarves coming up this week. Really looking forward to some cool matchups. Hope you guys have been enjoying things so far. And obviously more work being done soon on the Skaven. Thanks for watching, guys.